Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christine Pei.
And I'm Amy Jung, along with Rich and Shantae. Jake will join us live this morning from Munich, Germany. We'll have more from him in a little bit later in the show. But first, your ballots are in. Now it's time to see how you voted. We have new updates from overnight in some of our closely monitored races, both locally and nationally. King 5's Erica Zucco is here in studio tracking the wider impacts of these races.
And Kayla Lafferty is in the newsroom with one of the biggest congressional district races in Western Washington. And later on, Angelique Cogaday joins us from the King County Elections headquarters with a look at voter turnout.
When one young man or young person can pick up a gun and shoot another young person, there's a problem.
A community shattered. One student is dead after a shooting inside a Seattle high school. We'll have the latest details from police and the school district.
And a quiet morning out there. You see our Bellingham Tower Cam showing the winds have mostly died down there. Still a few places up there in Whatcom County that are seeing the winds. Otherwise, you can see that moonlight reflecting off the bay there. We're going to look for those winds to end up there in Whatcom this morning. Then just sunny and chilly today with highs in the low to mid 40s. Stretch of sunny weather headed our way. We'll tell you how long coming up.
If you are heading out this morning, we're off to a quiet start on the roads too. A crash just cleared here out on I-5 southbound, just south of 200th Street. So for those of you heading into Federal Way, we'll take a look at those hot spots in a few moments, and I'll have a look at your drive times.
This morning, Seattle police are working to find out what led up to the deadly shooting of a student inside Ingram High School.
The shooting happened yesterday morning, sending the school and some surrounding schools into lockdown. A suspect is in custody. King 5's Farah Jadron is live at Ingram High School this morning, where classes are canceled today. Farah.
Yeah, Christine, Mimi, there are no classes here today or tomorrow. Seattle School Superintendent Brent Jones says that the district's health services are going to be available to families, thinking parents are going to be talking to their kids about the tragedy that happened here. Now, while a suspect is in custody, Seattle PD's investigation into what happened here is still in the early stages. Now, when those initial calls for help went out, parents started to gather here at the school in hopes of being reunited with their children. Officers arrived on scene within 4 minutes of the shooting. Officers then arrested a suspect at about 11 o'clock yesterday morning at 145th and Aurora. They did find a gun on the suspect, but police are not yet confirming if that's the same weapon used in the deadly shooting here.
We are making sure that we interview every witness that we can find, that we identify all the reasons why this could have occurred, and then figuring out ways that we can prevent this from happening again. Because we do not want to continue to be part of a school or part of a city that has a young person picking up a gun and using it to hurt or harm others.
Well, students can't learn or develop or grow to be the best versions of themselves when they have to fear for their life. Our schools have to be the highest safe havens for our youth.
Seattle Police Chief Adrian Diaz not yet releasing the name or age of the suspect and confirming whether or not that person is a student. City officials and police started working right away to talk to the family of the student who was killed to make sure they were notified right away. We do not yet know that student's name. Now, we're going to keep updating you. We're going to check in with police. We're going to check in with the school district, and we'll bring you any of those updates here on the air and on king5.com. Live in Seattle, Farah Jadron, King 5 News.
So we'll continue to follow the story as more updates come in. Stay with King 5 on air and online for the latest information. You can also watch for free anytime with the King 5 Plus streaming app on Amazon Fire or Roku.
Now to our election coverage this morning with a lot of close races, but we've called this one. Democratic incumbent Patty Murray has defeated Tiffany Smiley. Republicans hoped for an upset. Smiley has not yet conceded the race. We'll hear from her about that and from Senator Murray coming up at 5:30. Still too close to call is the fight for Congressional District 8. The so-called Purple District now includes parts of Snohomish, King, Pierce, Chelan, and Kittitas counties.
Right now, Democrat incumbent Kim Schreier is leading her opponent, Republican Matt Larkin. At this hour, Schreier leads Larkin with 53% of the vote, compared to Larkin's 47%. Republicans are hoping to take the seat back after Schreier flipped that seat in 2018. Kayla Lafferty joins us live with reaction from both candidates this morning. Kayla?
Hey, good morning, Christine and Mimi. Yeah, this congressional seat was recently redistricted, adding more rural areas to the voter pool, and District District 8 is being closely watched by the nation because it has the potential to tip the balance of power in D.C. Incumbent Kim Schreier is the only Democrat to serve in this seat since it was created in the 1980s. She flipped it back in 2018 with just over 52% of the vote. Schreier told supporters she was feeling good about the results so far and focused on abortion rights and access to affordable health care.
Now you know you can count on me to listen, to learn, and then deliver. Because, hey, there's more work to do. We are bringing down the cost of medications and health care.
Matt Larkin is a businessman and former lawyer for the Bush administration. Combating crime and homelessness has been the main points of his campaign. Larkin says he thinks it will come down to the last few votes, but he's feeling confident.
We are right in this thing. We are right where we want to be. We're in the pocket of victory where we can actually still win this. So we are all over this race. We've got work to do, but we're going to get there over the next 4 days. We will beat Kim Schreier. We're confident of it. Every vote will be counted.
Nearly 200,000 votes have been counted in this race so far. Schreier is leading by a lot in King County, but was trailing Larkin in Pierce, Snohomish, Chelan, and Kittitas counties. In the newsroom, Kayla Lafferty, King 5 News.
Thank you very much, Kayla. Let's get it over to Erica Zuka, who's in studio with us right now with a closer look at the 8th District.
Right, Mimi and Christine. Well, we're actually seeing a lot of those trends that Kayla is talking about here, that we can get a closer look at some of the numbers. And if you take a look at this map right here, it kind of really tells a story of this congressional district. Of course, you have some parts of Chelan, Kittitas, and Pierce counties that are still going red at this point. This portion of King County going blue. And there are some differences of votes. If we take a look at King County here, you have a difference of about 23,000 votes that you can see here. If we take a look over at that area that has a lot of Pierce County, you got about 7,700 vote difference there. And if we look back to 2018 for a slight comparison, it's going to look a lot different because the boundaries changed during redistricting here. But you can kind of see what the map shook out to there. And one other thing to note, you see right here, there was a 4-point difference in this race. So you might be wondering, hey, that's how it shook out in 2018. Why in 2022 that we're looking at a wider margin here? Why is it not being called yet? Well, there are still a lot of votes left to come in. So a lot of people watching for that. Christina, Mimi.
All right, thank you very much, Erica. We will keep checking back with you all morning long. Now, in Southwest Washington, a Democrat is currently leading in a race that could flip a seat. This is Congressional District 3. Facing off in this race is Army veteran Republican Joe Kent. He is endorsed by former President Trump. He is facing Democratic candidate Marie Gluesenkamp Perez. She is a small business owner. This is her first time running for office. Now, Republican Jamie Herrera Butler has held the seat for more than a decade, but lost in this year's primary after she voted to impeach former President Trump.
Now let's take a look at the race for the Secretary of State's office. That's the office in charge of our election system. Democrat Steve Hobbs has an early lead over nonpartisan candidate Julie Anderson. The governor appointed Hobbs to the seat last year. Drew Mickelson spoke with both candidates.
This race was between a nonpartisan candidate and a Democrat. And the challenger, nonpartisan Julie Anderson, said there are too many votes out there to give up hope on this race. But the incumbent, Democrat Secretary of State Steve Hobbs, says he is confident that voters will return him to the office.
I'm proud of who I am. I'm a Democrat, pro-choice, pro-environment, pro-labor. But at the end of the day, people need to look at the person.
People really set aside their ideological differences and rallied behind experience, competence, and nonpartisanship. So I'm super proud. And no matter what the election results are going to be, I'm really going to be confident in the will of the voters and accept the election results.
But too early at this point.
I'm not ready to concede, for sure.
Whatever the final result, this will be the first time Washington voters have selected a Secretary of State who said they didn't prefer the Republican Party since the 1960s. In Tacoma, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
And we'll get to more election results all throughout the show. Right now, let's turn it over to Rich to talk about our weather. And for the first time, we're giving the radar a little bit of a break.
It's going to get actually an extended rest, it looks like, really. Take a look out this morning. Not a lot to show you out there. We have clear skies. You can see the moonlight on the water out there up in Bellingham. And the grasses in the foreground, you can see, are not moving very much. You move inland, there's still some gusts, a little over 20 miles an hour, but those will be wrapping up a little later on this morning. And that's true up and down the Sound. We're going to be rid of those winds, which really gave us nasty wind chills. See, mostly in the upper upper 20s and low to mid 30s. And if we add in the wind, the only place you really see a big change is up there in Ferndale and Bellingham. School net sites dropping into the low 20s. But again, that will be improving. We'll be looking for sunshine around Bellingham. Temperatures in the low to mid 40s. And actually, that's the forecast up and down. The sound is sunshine and highs low to mid 40s today. We are going to see things warm a little bit as we head towards later in the week, and might even see a sprinkle around Friday, but that's about all we can muster. We'll take a look at that extended forecast coming up. Shantae?
If you are heading out right now, we're off to a great start on your Wednesday morning. Taking a look here on 167 for those of you heading northbound, things starting to pick up, but you can still see a lot of green on the map here in Pierce County. We are starting to see a little bit of a slowdown out on 512 as you head into Puyallup. I showed you a few moments ago, we're no longer dealing with that crash out near the Des Moines area, so things are clear there. And out on 405, if you're heading northbound, nothing to slow you down there. So if you are leaving from the south and heading north, here's a look at some drive times. Tacoma to Seattle, only 37 minutes, 21 minutes from South Center to Bellevue, 34 minutes from Puyallup to Renton. Coming up in a few moments, we'll take a look at your ferry alert. Plus, I'll tell you about a few construction zones you'll want to watch out for overnight.
Thanks, Shantae. And coming up, we'll check in with Jake Whittenberg in Germany. Right now, he is currently searching for the best cup of coffee.
90 on the hot box.
Cheers. Oh, that's deliciously smooth. Wow. And very strong. Hope you're enjoying your cup of coffee or tea at home. More from Munich, Germany throughout the morning.
And as we head to break, here's a look at some more results from the midterm election. For more results, text the word election to 206-448-4545.